you use your Windows mode. When you go with your browser applications, you use your browser mode. When you go with your uh, UI, like when you have your front end pages, and you know even for this capturing, you can use your UI mode. Drop down, especially for the drop downs, your UI mode is very much useful. Okay, and when the region mode is used to, no, the colors of this bounded box and all this will not be same, they are default. So for the region mode, this region mode is much useful when we are creating a surface automations. Okay, surface automations are nothing but Citrix based automations. This is a again a huge topic, so let's not get into it. Okay, so these are all four different types of modes, and I've told where these modes are being used. So now let's get back to our mode, which is a browser mode, and let's capture this element, which is to be read. Okay, I've captured this element. Now here you can see the username and password are automatically filled because I have autofill option. Like I've saved my username and password because I usually don't remember my passwords. That's the reason I have auto saved it. Auto save. I'm using a auto save. That's what you can see my username and password autofill. When I am running this application, you can see it is writing there. This blue color mark is going. Okay. So as I've told, we'll make use of my read stage now. Just select, click on your match and uncheck the unnecessary items. And even here, if this value has been captured somewhere, you have to uncheck it. So here you see web check, web text, it is unchecked. If it is checked, you'll not be able to read the text. Okay, you'll not be able to read the text. So let's uncheck it. Let's keep this unchecked. So we'll be able to read the text. And now click on OK. Go back to your studio. Go back to your object studio. Here in your in your read stage, drag your element. Drag your read element to your element section and the item to be performed. Here you see we have many items, right? So to get the element, I'm just selecting it as a get current value. To read that particular text from there, I'm selecting it as a get current value. Okay, and I'm storing it here. I've created a value here, a text value, text data item. I'll store in this. Okay, here you see value from read, a data item has been created. Click on OK, and I'll show you initially. See, the initial values are and the current values is empty. Once after I run, you'll find the difference. Use your link stage, link your write, link your read, and end the stage. Let me close this window here, and now reset the flow, run the flow. So what happens when I run the flow is it will again launch my Windows browser, that is LinkedIn page. It will write my username, and with the help of this read stage, it will read the text. Okay, so let us check that now. So here you see my process has been completed. Now let's go back to my data item and check whether it has read the element or not. So here you see I've got the text. Got it? My text has been read and it has been saved in the data item. Welcome to your professional community. We asked it to read the welcome to professional community text, right? So it has read it. So in this way, we make use of your read stage. Okay, clear? Are everyone clear till here? I guess I'm going, continuous today without giving any breaks. To get the timing of this execution, you'll have to use your alert stage. Your alert stage gives you the entire history. I'll even show that. So let me complete the things what I want to tell according to my plan. Then I'll show you everything. Okay. So till now, is it clear for everyone? Great. So now what we'll do is, so just a second, guys. Just give me a minute. I'm sorry for this, but just give me a minute. Sorry, guys. I just got a I have to attend it. Yeah, I hope I'm audible back now. And yeah, so I have hands-on on all the three tools: Automation Anywhere, UiPath, and Blue Prism. But in this particular 2 days of training, I have to go with only a Blue Prism. Okay. So now I'll show you the use of your, like, I'll tell you why we use our wait stage. So here again in this wait, we have two types of waits. Okay. This types, we have two types of waits again. Basically, this wait stage we use uh, we use for a delay. So when we write some sort of codes, we use a delay, right? Right, we you write some delay equals to some sort of seconds figure. With that, what happens? The action, the performance gets delayed, it waits there, right? In the same way, to perform a delays over here, we have a wait stage. So I'll make use of this wait stage and I'll show you how this works. Okay, let me delete the connection in between launch and a write. I launch first, and before it is switching to my write stage, I'll ask it to wait for some 5 seconds. Okay. So for that, I want to use this wait stage. Use this wait stage. Use your link. Connect your launch stage with your wait one. Timeout with your write one. Okay. Double click on your wait one stage. If you have any conditions, even the conditions you can give. For now, I'm not waiting for any sort of conditions. I'm directly giving a timestamp. Even it works like this. So by default it is been taking as a 5 seconds, so I'm just going with this 5 seconds of delay. Okay, I click on OK and then I run this. Sorry, let me reset and run. Here you see it has launched, but it is waiting here. Before it is switching to write stage, it is waiting here, right? So with this wait stage, what happens is, if your page is taking time to load, it helps us to wait, like before executing my second or a third stage, what is there, it's a next stage, it waits there. So that what happens, if your network is low, or if your network is slow, it will like it can take time to load until it's moved to a next step. Okay, it is the use of our wait stage here. Okay, and we have a code stage. This code stage is used to write some small codes, like if we are unable to capture the elements, or if we are unable to automate some process, we can use this code stage. And this code stage supports only three languages: C Sharp, J Sharp, and Visual Basics. Only these three languages are being supported by your code stage. Okay, with this I'm done with all the days, like all the features of our process and object studio. Okay, is everyone clear? If you are all clear, I'll just show you a currency converter use case. I'll run a use case and I'll show you. So guys, is it clear till now? Okay, so let's switch to our currency converter. So, so the people asking for, so the participants asking for your exception and your recovery. Here it is. Your recovery and resume. By combining this both stages, we create a recovery stage or a recovery operation. So when this recovery operation is useful is, see, let's say, so I've shown you a internal error, right? I've shown you a error somewhere. So let me show it again. Let me switch to some flow and let me create some sort of error here. Let me delete this link, reset and run. So here you see, I'm getting a error, and this flow has been stopping only here. Like I've just deleted this, otherwise it could not show this. I've deleted a connection and I've created an error here. It is nothing but it is throwing in some sort of exception, right? So whenever you go with your recovery stage here, something like this, your recovery stage, connect this, reset, you have some two errors again. So resume one. So here, let me connect this to my end. Okay, reset. I'm creating this error wantedly. Okay, click on run. Here you see, earlier what was happening? I was getting a error, right? I was getting a internal error there, right? I was getting a pop-up with an internal error. But here you see, why after using my recovery stage, I'm not getting any sort of error over there, or my flow is not stopping in between. So your recovery and resume stages are used to create your recovery operation. Okay, with this what happens is, if you get any sort of exceptions while you are running your flows, that overcomes the exceptions. Okay, it will stop, it will prevent from stopping the flow. Okay, it prevents from stopping the flow, and it will end the flow. It will continue the flow by just skipping that sort of error stage. Okay. uh, Anchor stages are used to create your circular paths. I've shown a circular path flow, right? So the use of anchors is that to create your circular paths. Okay, so this is use of your recovery and your resume. And now I'll show you a exception. Here is my exception stage. Okay, so let me connect this with my exception. Will this happen? Reset and run. Sorry, I'm not giving any type of exceptions here, right? So let me delete this. Basically, these exceptions are used to capture the data. Like if I throw here an exception type, I am giving some exception type as mm, missing link. Sorry, let me not give this. Let me give the system exception, or let me go with, yeah, let me go with the system exception, and let me give us missing link. So with this, what happens is, uh, whenever you create a flow for a real-time use cases, when go with your exceptions, whenever you get some sort of errors, the errors has been captured, and that errors are been sent to your manual team. Okay, in form of it might be directly stores the errors into your folder, or it sends you errors what have been occurred in your flow through a email. So even we can that so here I've given some information, right? What sort of exception type it is, what sort of exception details it is. Like I know here the error will be only because a missing link, or it is because your timeout. Like if you don't set a wait time there, what how many seconds it has to wait, if you don't set that, only because of these two reasons I'll have the error in this particular stage. So here it is, in this case what it is regarding your missing link, right? So that's the reason I've given the exception detail as a missing link. So what happens whenever this exception occurs? So whenever this exception occurs, and this when this log has been seen by your manual team, they'll easily identify what sort of exception it might occur. So if I don't give this sort of exceptions here, which type of exception it is, what detail, like why this error has occurred, if I don't give these things, they'll find some bit difficult to check, right? They'll find some difficult to check, as this flow is a simple flow and very small flow. That's the reason whenever you see, you will be able to identify that you are having a missing link over here, and that is the error. But when you go with a real time, you know bots, we create sub flows, we'll have sub flows, we'll have bigger flows where we cannot identify easily, right? So that's the reason we give this details of exceptions, and whenever this exception occurs, we'll get a log. In our logs we can able to see which type of exception it is and what is the exception reason for it. Okay, now is it clear why we use recovery and resume stage and your exception stages? Yeah. So as you all are clear with this, let me switch to our currency converter flow. Let me switch to our currency converter flow. So this is my currency converter flow. So here what I've used is, additionally I've used an action stage and I've used a MS Excel VBO there. Okay, this MS Excel VBO is used like I'll show you in Excel what I have done. I'll show you just a second. I guess I've not shared it over here. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll show you that flow. Let me take the path from here. Then it will be easy for me to identify where the flow, where the Excel file has been placed. So yeah, the path was on desktop. Let me search for it. I guess I've moved the path from there. Yeah, here it is. Let me cut from this and paste back on my desktop and double click on this. You can give even that path, as I've already have a path given like on desktop. That's the reason I don't want to disturb it. And I've just copied the file and placed over here. So initially what I'm doing is, okay, here what I've given the currency type and I've given the amount. So whenever I run the flow, what happens is it first takes the element, like it first launches my Excel file. It will read these values from here and it will store in a collection. Okay. After getting stored in my collection, it will launch my currency converter. After launching my currency converter, it will enter from value, like in your from value, it will enter this CAD, which is nothing but a Canadian dollar, and it will enter 2. 2 here is this INR. I want to convert my Canadian dollar of this 39 rupees to my INR. Okay. So in my from text, my Canadian dollar will be printed. In to state, my INR will be printed, and in amount section, my amount gets printed. In this way, it will perform for all these 5 rows, and after performing for all these 5 rows, the values from my collection will again be backed. Like again, it will saved here the whatever the INR values we are getting after converting this currency. After converting this currency, what are the values I get? INR values I get that are been stored again in this Excel file. Okay, that is what the entire flow what I've designed is. Here, create instance is nothing but the instance to open. Open workbook, workbook will be open, and my workbook name will be read over here. So that name, we are creating a collection over here. Here you can see we have a collection created, my input collection. So it is empty now, right? Here my collection is empty because I did not run this flow yet. When I run this flow, the data from my currency converter, like sorry, currency data is there, right? That Excel from and amount. These both columns data will be captured in this currency. Sorry, in this collection. So then once it captured, it launches my web application. It launches my currency converter. Then it goes enters the amount. This loop stage is because I have my 4 different rows there. Same operation has to be performed for the different rows, right? So that's the reason my loop stage has been used. It will write the amount section. In amount section, it will write the amount. In from section, it will write from which currency to which currency we have to change into currency, and then it will click on a button, and then whatever the value we get with the help of this read stage over here, it will read the value and it will perform for all the rows. Once these are done, it will save, like with the help of this write collection, it will write this values, whatever the INR values have been saved in this Excel, that sorry, in this collection, that will be written in my Excel over there with the help of this write collection operation. Okay, then it will close the instant. It is nothing but it will close the workbook. It will save and close basically here. Okay, then it will close my Chrome browser. Here a mail, I've even used email SMTP and POP3 to send and receive my emails. Okay, that is what So emails is nothing but whatever this file is there, right? The file, the Excel file, what I have just shown to you. After storing my values, I'll have a meaningful data there, right? That meaningful data I'm just sending to some X person. So that is this entire flow. Now let me reset this flow and run this flow for you. And even I've made use of my alert stage. So here you can see I have made use of two alert stages. This is alert 2 and alert 1. With the help of alert 1, if my flow is successfully running, I'll get a message as successful, a notification as successful. And if I have any sort of errors, it will go to a recovery mode. And from this recovery mode, I'll get a notification as a exception or a error. Here you see it has launched my application. It is waiting here because the wait stage has been used. So here you see the initial value was 1 and now it is 39. It started writing there. Here you see the value of 39 CAD to our INR. Same operations will be performed for all the 4 rows. I request you to just wait, like it's about to end. So once I show this entire process for you, then we'll end up this session. So here you see, with this, my 4 rows is done. Sorry, only 3 rows is done, I guess. The 4th row is running now. So here you see my 4 rows have been done. It returned to my Excel value. It will close the Excel value now. It will save and close the Excel value. Yeah. So I don't have an edit option. So that is what it is gave a pop-up to me. I'll just click on save. So here you see it has closed. It has closed my web browser entire tabs. It is sending a mail to me. It has sent the mail. So here some exceptions has been occurred. So that is what it went to my recovery stage and it is ending the process and the alert has been given. Here you see entire history of our process. Okay. Now here even you can download this history. For this particular flow, what is the history? Even that you can export. When you click on this export button, your history of that particular flow will be executed. That has been stored in my document section. I'll show you even that. So when you go to your document section, So here you have see Blue Prism alert history. So the alert history has been shown. And even let me show you the values, the stored values. Here you see the values have been stored in my Excel event. And now a last thing what I have to show is, now let's say you have created this flow, you have created this sort of application like digital workers, right? Now you want to export them or you want to download this particular flow. How to do is, go to your home. Here you have a file page, right? You have a file over here. Click on this file, go to your exports option, click on a process or an object, and if you want to export the process, you click on process. If you want to export the process, you can select the, sorry, if you want to export the process, select the process. If you want to export the business object, you can select the business object. As I'm showing you this sample one, let me go with the process. Click on next, and in this process I have two folders, right? One is default and one is IBM Watson example. That's the reason I'm getting two folders over here. I want to download a flow from my default folder. So here are all the flows what I've created in my default folder. So let's say I wanted to download this IBM language flow. Just select it, click on next, and here tell the path where the flow, whatever the flow has been exported, where it has to be saved. Give the path, give that path there. Let me select on my desktop and click on save, then click on finish. So here you see, when you switch to your desktop, here you see my IBM language flow has been exported to my desktop. This is how you have to submit your flows to any, like if you wanted to submit the flows what you are creating, this is how you can export and submit your flow. Yeah, so with this I'm done with the session. So I'm from now I'm open for the queries for next 7